Thomas Bennett, 41 years old, one unbreakable rule and 27 minutes. That's all it took, because when his kids walked back through those shelter doors, he wasn't staring at a dog. He was staring at 400 pounds of chaos, drool, and the best decision he never made. Thomas Bennett had one rule for 41 years, one ironclad, unbreakable rule. Nothing, absolutely nothing could make him abandon it. But then came 27 minutes, just 27 minutes, and that rule collapsed completely. Under 400 pounds of fur, giant paws, and an almost supernatural amount of drool. Every house on Oak Creek had a dog, leashed, trained, price-tagged dogs. Every morning, neighbor Henderson would lean over the hedge. "Thomas, when are you finally getting one?" Thomas always shook his head. No, absolutely not. The house was peaceful, the couches were clean, the carpets were intact. But that Saturday morning, the kids, 9-year-old Lily and 7-year-old Leo, had locked their eyes on him. That look, the look that is every parent's breaking point. Thomas took a deep breath and slapped the steering wheel. "Fine, but there's a rule," he said. "We're not buying. If we're doing this, we're rescuing, and you are choosing." It seemed like such a clever move at the time. He assumed the kids would pick something small, manageable, maybe a beagle, maybe a little terrier, something that wouldn't turn his life upside down. Thomas Bennett took exactly 27 minutes to learn how little he knew about his own life. Lily and Leo disappeared inside. Thomas and Sarah waited outside. Sarah grabbed Thomas's arm. "Everything will be fine." Thomas laughed. Of course it would. 27 minutes later, the metal door swung open. Lily and Leo came back, wearing that smile, the one that freezes every parent solid. The "dad's gonna be mad, but he'll love it anyway" combination smile. "Daddy, please don't be mad," and Thomas stepped inside. Two mountains, no other word for it, paws the size of dinner plates, deep, all-seeing eyes, and that expression that looked like it was staring directly into Thomas's wallet and waving goodbye. One was female, calm, measured. The other, male, thick-necked, already moving in Thomas's direction. The shelter workers stepped forward. They're together 400 pounds. When we put them in separate kennels, the female stopped eating. The male howled until his throat gave out. They're a package deal, a 400-pound package. Thomas wanted to say something. He genuinely did. Leo was already buried deep in the male's thick fur. He looked up at Thomas like a tiny ant next to a golden boulder. "Dad, look, I'm disappearing." Thomas signed the papers. The arrival of Barnaby and Bella at the Bennett house became Oak Creek legend. The entire neighborhood watched from porches and windows. As the two 200-pound giants climbed out of the SUV, the ground seemed to shake. At least that's how Thomas felt it. Neighbors who once bragged about their expensive teacup poodles stood frozen in stunned silence. Within the first 10 seconds, Barnaby knocked over the coat rack. At second 11, Bella sat on the couch and the couch sank exactly 4 inches. Exactly 4. Thomas measured it. First night, Thomas bought expensive orthopedic large breed beds. By 2 a.m., both beds were empty. Barnaby was stretched across the entire couch, front paws hanging off one side, back paws off the other, snoring like a broken lawnmower. Bella had claimed exactly 2/3 of Thomas's bed. She had left him a 14-inch strip along the edge. Thomas tried to move Bella. Bella opened one eye, looked at him, closed it. The conversation was over. If you're still watching but haven't subscribed yet, that actually breaks my heart a little. Hit subscribe now, because what happens next, you will not see coming. By the second week, Thomas had discovered something. The drool puddle under Barnaby's chin was exactly a dinner plate in size. Every single meal. It started the moment Thomas listed his fork. Thomas had measured it intentionally. But something was shifting in the neighborhood. Henderson wasn't asking, "When are you getting one?" anymore. Every afternoon, kids lined up just to pet Barnaby and Bella. Neighbors who once bragged about their designer dogs were now taking selfies next to the giant rescues. Thomas would watch from his porch sometimes. A 400-pound rescue dog had become the heart of the entire street. Some stories spread on their own. This was one of them. But what would truly shake Thomas hadn't arrived yet. Week 6. Something had changed in Bella. Her legendary appetite, Bella, who ate 7 pounds of food a day, had slowed. Her movements had grown heavy. Sarah touched Thomas's arm. "Let's take her to the vet." Thomas felt his chest tighten. He had accepted 400 pounds of chaos into his life. Barnaby tried to sit on his chest every morning and kept sliding off. Bella hid his left slipper beside the food bowl every single morning. The message was clear: you're up, feed me. These dogs were his dogs now, and that difference in Bella's eyes was scaring him. Walking into a veterinary clinic with 2 Saint Bernards was like escorting 2 grizzly bears through a revolving door. Staff cleared the path. Every other dog in the waiting room retreated to the walls. Dr. Miller examined Bella. It took a long time. Thomas leaned against Barnaby. It should have been the other way around, but Barnaby didn't mind. Then Dr. Miller turned around. There was a smile on his face, but Thomas knew the type. Not the great news smile, the life has things you will never predict smile. Thomas, Dr. Miller said, Bella has a very big surprise for you. The room froze. Bella was pregnant. Thomas leaned into Barnaby. Barnaby didn't move. He stood like a 200-pound pillar and held Thomas's weight. Lily and Leo screamed with joy. Thomas laughed and cried at the same time. Thomas just stared. My retirement plan, he finally said, has officially become a pile of puppy food. Barnaby had not left Bella's side through any of it. At the clinic, on the drive home, back at the house, every step he was there, a 200-pound guardian, quietly, steadily. Lily and Leo built an enormous nesting box. Thomas watched, looked at his kids, looked at Barnaby, still beside Bella, still waiting, and in that moment, Thomas understood. At the shelter, they had been introduced as a 400-pound package. Nobody had wanted them, and now they, this house, this family, this neighborhood, had become the center of everything. Thomas sat down on the floor. Barnaby moved immediately to his side and rested his enormous head on Thomas's shoulder. Thomas put his hand on the back of Barnaby's neck. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. The couches were furry now, the carpet warranty was void, he slept in a 14-inch strip every night, and soon the house would be even fuller. But Thomas Bennett's house had never felt more full. Some decisions aren't made with logic. Some decisions are made in 27 minutes, in the eyes of 2 children and in the gaze of 2 giant dogs. And sometimes the story that starts with absolutely not becomes the best yes of your life. If you're thinking about getting a rescue dog, visit the shelters, learn, prepare, and never forget that sometimes what the world calls too much is exactly what you needed all along. Would you have been like Thomas, or would your kids have convinced you too? Tell me in the comments.